this episode. I am so excited because we're dealing with health, wealth, and cannabis. And now we've got GP Mendie to help us break it down, talk health, wealth, and cannabis. Welcome, GP.
Thank you, Tony, for having us, for having Mary on your program.
FAMU, you guys know, is one of the preeminent institutions in the country, in the world, especially in the HBCU world. Cannabis education is hypercritical in our communities. Tell us about MMERI.
So MMERI, Medical Marijuana Education and Research Initiative, was authorized by the Florida legislature and housed here at FAMU. And we're mandated by Florida law to educate Florida's minorities and diverse populations about medical and unlawful use of marijuana. Like you've rightly stated, this is a very important public health issue with immense socioeconomic health impact on communities across the great state of Florida. And so it is quite an honor, actually, that Florida A&M University has been, given this mandate by the Florida legislature to educate and empower our people across the great state of Florida, and help people make informed decisions in collaboration with their physicians about what's best for them. And so we're doing this across the state of Florida, and we're really enjoying it, and having great success.
I appreciate that. Hey, Mom, if you're watching, I'm calling you out. But she, at her age, is having different kinds of pains, and so she too is trying to learn. Who are the kind of people that need this information the most?
We would say all Floridians that are age 18 and older. There are two sides to it. There's medical marijuana, and then there's the unlawful use of marijuana, basically what we call adult use or recreational marijuana. And so when you're talking about the medical side of it, you're talking about people that, have different ailments. Florida statute has authorized several ailments that, could be covered under it. And this ranges from, cancer, epilepsy, glaucoma, and the rest of them, to be able to work with their physicians. We don't say prescribe, but we say recommended. So you meet with a patient that is interested or that think that they have a medical condition that meets one of the criteria for medical marijuana, would meet with a qualified physician. And you could go to, we encourage Floridians to visit the website of the Florida Department of Health Office of Medical Marijuana Use, or MMU. And there they will find a list of all qualified physicians, especially whichever one that's close to them. They could search by zip code and see the qualified physicians that have been authorized to recommend medical marijuana to individuals that meet the criteria in accordance with Florida law. And so when a patient meets with their physician, it's the physician's job to do an assessment of them and then make a determination. And then from there, the doctor and the patient decide, okay, yes, medical marijuana will be good for you. And so, and like you've stated, yes, the patient and the physician would decide what type. We call it modes of delivery. Is it the vaping? Is it the tinctures? Whichever one. Is it the edibles? And so the patient and the physician work together to determine what's best for them, and the patient, follows the physician's recommendations regarding what best meets their healthcare needs.
That's the healthcare side of the quotient. How about recreation? Guys hanging out on the weekend, just want to roll a spliff or something.
That's totally different. Marijuana is illegal under federal law. Even though medical marijuana is legal in Florida, recreational or adult use marijuana is not legal, both by state law or federal law. So we encourage people to understand that when they're using marijuana recreationally, you're breaking the law. If you get caught, the consequences are enormous. If you're a professional and you get arrested, you could lose your job. I mean, there are consequences to using marijuana recreationally.
I think most people know it's illegal, but sort of accept it. And I think that blurred line is something that sometimes causes bad decisions.
Yeah, and I think it's also because a lot of people have used it, and they said, well, I've used it, my friends have used it, what's wrong with it, And
Right.
Some even say, well, it's a natural plant, it's a gift from God, Now, in other states, you could use it and it's legal in those states. Even medical marijuana that's legal in Florida, you cannot take it across state lines. And you cannot, and you should not bring in medical marijuana that you got from some other state into Florida. And so those are some of the things we try to help people understand, because it's especially people that cross state lines, often without thinking, hey, okay, I've got medical marijuana, I'm covered, I've got my card. And then you cross state line, and if you get pulled over and you've crossed state lines with medical marijuana, yeah, you're in a different territory. You could get in trouble, and people have gotten in trouble. Even though medical marijuana is legal, you cannot take it on federal property. Social Security office, the post office, that's federal property. We don't think about that. It doesn't register. And these are some of the things that we want people to keep in mind. It's tricky, but we educate people so they don't get into those kinds of troubles. And the more we educate Floridians, the more they know, and the more they're able to use the recommended medical marijuana responsibly. And that is that's the key term, using it responsibly. The fact that it's legal doesn't mean you can share it with somebody else. That is not responsible use. It was recommended for you, not for somebody else.
Because this is a lifestyle, this is a health issue, and a lifestyle issue. If nothing else, raise the awareness. The stats are coming out that men are twice as likely to have everything than women.
It's true.
What are you doing, sharing, and thinking about as you look at your health and other people in your community, your network, your family? What are you sharing, particularly as a man and as a man of color? Because again, those numbers are a lot higher and we're at higher risk.
Stress impacts, well, not just men, but men most especially. We think, we're invincible. We're taught not to cry, not to show weakness. And so when we're suffering, we don't seek help. And that goes a long way in impacting, our overall health. I remember my dad once taught me, he said, it's not a sign of weakness, but a sign of strength to know your limitations. It's actually a sign of strength to know your limitations and know when to seek help. It is a strength, not a weakness. And so when we understand that and to seek help, when you've encountered, hey, I've reached my wit's end, and you know where to seek help and where to seek the help, it goes a long way to positively impacting our health and our lives, and even the lives of our families, especially for the men that have, children, wives, spouses, partners, depending on them. When we're impacted, it impacts our entire environment and the people around us. And a lot of times we might think we're hiding it pretty well, but they can see that we're suffering. They can see we're not happy. They can see that we're struggling. And sometimes, they might find it hard to ask, are you okay? And even when they do ask if we're okay, we don't feel comfortable sharing. And so what do we do next? A lot of times we start relying on substances. It could be marijuana, it could be something else, it could be alcohol. And before you know it, those things take over our lives, and it impairs our ability to make, good decisions. And then it has a snowball effect. And so, yes, you are so right that men, we need to think about us, and taking care of ourselves, because we've got a lot of people depending on us, and they can tell that we're not okay. We're probably the last ones to know we're not.
Got an artist like Kid Cudi that the kids love, DJ, super awesome. movie star, and he had to step away because he was one of the first hip hop and DJs that actually said, I got problems here. I need to stop for a minute. When celebrities come out and admit that they have these stresses and challenges, that helps ordinary guys like us.
I think it does, because society, especially ours, we see the celebrities and we think they're superhuman. They don't have problems, and then when they come out,
Thank you.
you find out, oh, okay, they've got problems just like I do. And the way they're dealing with it, it brings attention to the issue. Oh, okay. If they can be open about it, then I can identify with that. Because a lot of these celebrities, they have people that, that look up to them, and adore them and idolize them. And so when they come out and talk about their struggles, then the average person can say, hey, okay, if what he did helped him, or if he's got this problem, then, and he can talk about it, then it's okay for me too, to talk about it. And I think it does bring, if nothing else, it brings awareness, and the more we talk about issues, and the more we talk about the problem, then it reduces the stigma associated with that problem. And it helps, take us down the path of finding solutions to solving the problem.
Words of wisdom, guys. That's GP Mendie, FAMU MMERI, dropping some bombs over here very calmly, but their bombs is the same, guys. We need to be able to grab this information, share it with our communities, health, wealth, and cannabis. Men are 3 to 4 times more likely than women to commit suicide, and that's an average of 130 per day. Are there some things that we need to know that you want to share?
Well, thank you for the opportunity, Tony, and for what you do, and the platform reaching the multitude of people that you reach across the state and across the nation. I would like to encourage people to visit the FAMU MMERI website and be more educated about what we do. And even though medical marijuana might be legal, it is important for people to understand that it may not be for everyone. And so you need to speak with a qualified physician to make sure that, it meets your healthcare needs. And it's also very important for especially women, of childbearing age, or women that are pregnant, to be careful and talk with their physician, before they use marijuana, medical or not, because of the impact that research has shown that it has, on the unborn child. And so it is very important. Even the men, any man that hopes, to have a child, because marijuana stays in the body for up to 3 months. And so it is important that they think about it, because it could impact their unborn child. Life is hard as it is. We don't want to give, put our children, our posterity at a disadvantage. So we have to be careful the choices we make. And I think this whole educating folks is all about that. And it's okay to seek help. Every man listening, it's okay to seek help. If you don't know where to start, talk to whoever you look up to. Talk to your physician. If you don't have access to a physician, if you have access to a pastor or someone in the community, go to the health center, Florida Department of Health, the local Department of Health, go seek resources. Call the MMERI office and say, hey, I have questions about medical and unlawful use of marijuana. Where do I start? Talk to your loved ones. Don't be shy to share how you feel. And if you have access to the resources, and you could talk to, go into therapy and you think you need it, seek counseling, seek the help. It pays off for you and your family. You'll be grateful for it. And your family will thank you too.
Absolutely. Good advice. I know as a former athlete, I would get, more than anything, I would get sprained ankles. Playing football and basketball, it was always the ankle. It would swell up and all that. And I started learning that I'm not going to play through it. I'm going to get help. I'm going to ice it. I'm going to get professional. And we have a tendency to think of those things being physical. We will continue to share information and insight. We encourage you to share it. And as GP said before we close, it's not just about you, it's about your family members. GP, thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate that. And we can't wait to get you back over and over again. And on this day, guys, I want to tell all of you, thank you for joining. We are signing off. See you on social media. See you on the next episode. Tony Lesesne checking out, guys. Thanks, GP.
Thank you, Tony.